In just 10 minutes, get 10 powerful takeaways from the 5-hour conversation between country star John Rich and Shawn Ryan. John says the truth no preacher dares, exposes corruption in modern churches, and shares his battles with faith, music, and values. Stay till the end. You won't want to miss this. Takeaway 1, speaking the truth no preacher dares. John Rich opened up to Shawn Ryan about something that shocked many viewers. He said there are truths about God and faith that most preachers will not touch because they fear losing money, popularity, or their comfortable positions. John does not have those fears. He believes America is facing not just political or cultural problems, but deep spiritual problems. He explained how modern churches have watered down the gospel, avoiding tough subjects like sin, accountability, and spiritual warfare. He said this is why so many people feel that Christianity in America has lost its power and direction. He quoted the Bible where Jesus warned that anyone who causes children to stumble would be better off at the bottom of the sea with a millstone around their neck. John sees children as the most innocent and pure beings on earth, and he believes protecting them from evil influences is one of the greatest responsibilities we have. For example, John told the story of how his sons worked the land with him, splitting wood and laying mulch, and he connects that hard physical work to the responsibility of protecting and nurturing their souls. He wants them to know that a real man tells the truth and stands up for what is right, even when it costs him everything. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 2, standing firm on values. John Rich shared how living by values is not just talk for him, but a daily practice. He explained that when you refuse to bend, you may lose opportunities, money, and fame. But what you gain is peace of mind and the ability to sleep well at night. He laughed and said, "I like good sleep." For him, standing firm also sets the right example for his teenage sons. He wants them to see that when you know something is true, you must never back down, no matter what the world takes away from you. He recalled how Jason Aldean once texted him in frustration after his wife was attacked online by critics. John told Jason that if he stood strong, the people who believe in authenticity would support him even more. Jason listened, and soon he was filling stadiums because fans respected his courage. For example, John compared this kind of courage to soldiers on a battlefield, saying that once you choose to fight for what is true, you have to go all the way without fear of losing comfort. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 3, spiritual warfare in today's world. John Rich and Shawn Ryan discuss the idea of spiritual warfare. John believes that many of the battles we see in society are not just political fights, but are really signs of good and evil clashing. He described how when he was 8 years old, he was baptized in a horse trough and gave his life to Christ. But as he grew older, he drifted and lived like the prodigal son until one night after a concert when he felt the presence of God leave him completely. He said it was like being abandoned in the Arctic Circle, a cold emptiness that terrified him. That moment made him realize how real the battle for the soul is. He apologized to God again and again, and eventually, after consuming hundreds of sermons by preacher Charles Stanley, he felt the presence of God return. For example, he said when that light switch came back on, suddenly the world he once loved looked absurd and even repulsive, and that was proof to him that spiritual warfare is real and ongoing. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 4, calling out corruption and false teachings. John Rich did not hold back when talking about scandals and corruption. He called out celebrity pastors who avoid speaking about hard truths so that they can stay popular. He named Joel Osteen as an example of someone who focuses on prosperity while leaving out the full message of the Bible. John also spoke about the Tennessee Valley Authority and how local people resisted their attempts to take land, showing that ordinary people can stand up against powerful forces. He even touched on the scandal around P. Diddy to point out how corruption and immorality often go unchallenged in celebrity culture. For example, John explained that when a pastor refuses to talk about sin or judgment, they may fill pews with people who feel comfortable, but they are failing in their duty to prepare people for eternity. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 5, a tough childhood. John Rich grew up in a hardworking but financially stretched family. His father, a Baptist preacher, often worked over 100 hours a week by taking on side jobs such as night watchman, salesman, and even slopping hogs. John would often help his dad with these jobs, preparing barrels of spoiled bread and milk to feed pigs. His mother, on the other hand, was distant and their relationship remained strained. John says his grandmother was more of a mother figure. He remembers vividly the deep lines in the faces of older men in his community, men who had survived the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression, and how they taught him the value of working hard until the job was done. For example, John told the story of his father deciding to build a new school when he felt local schools were not good enough, and with the help of others, he transformed old Army barracks into a Christian school where John studied for several years. We're halfway through the video. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you'd like to support us, please tap the thanks button below. It helps us keep making great content. Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6, music as a lifeline. From the time his father handed him a guitar at the age of 5, John Rich was hooked on music. He practiced constantly, often recording songs from the radio on a cassette deck and replaying them until he could play every note. By the time he was 16, after moving to Tennessee, he realized he was only 30 miles from Nashville, the heart of country music. That realization changed everything. He begged to enter talent contests even though he was underage, promising to sit quietly with a soda while the adults drank around him. For example, one of those contests included Trace Adkins and Tracy Lawrence, both of whom later became stars, and John held his own against them. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 7, success with Lonestar and Big and Rich. John's first big break came when he joined the band Lonestar as a bassist and vocalist. They went on to release the hit song Amazed, which became one of the most successful country songs of its era. Later, he teamed up with Big Kenny to form Big and Rich, known for their wild mix of country, rock, and rap. Songs like Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy made them household names. For example, John recalled how excited he was to meet Johnny Cash at a fair in Ohio when he was just 19, saying Cash had the ability to deliver more meaning in 4 lines than most songwriters could in an entire song. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 8, struggles and redemption. Even as his music career soared, John Rich struggled with pride and addiction. He admitted he acted like a mob boss, using his success as a hammer to dominate others. Gambling became his biggest downfall. He often played all 9 hands at a blackjack table, sometimes winning tens of thousands in a single night. But one morning after winning $62,000, he felt God telling him how disrespectful that was to his father's years of hard work. That was the turning point. He quit gambling cold turkey in 2010. For example, he used that same money to buy a truck with cash, and he still drives it today as a reminder of the day he turned his life around. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 9, challenges in the music industry. John Rich gave Shawn Ryan an inside look at how the country music industry shifted over time. He said that once patriotic country executives were slowly replaced by people from Los Angeles and New York who did not understand or value traditional country music. These new executives tried to control what artists could say or sing about. For example, when Carrie Underwood sang America the Beautiful at an inauguration, critics called her a fascist simply for performing a patriotic song. John said this is why so many artists remain silent, because they fear losing their record deals and their audience. Now let's move to the last takeaway. Takeaway 10, building independence through business. John Rich did not stop at music. He became an entrepreneur to create independence outside of the system he saw as corrupt. He founded Redneck Riviera whiskey and opened bars in Nashville and Las Vegas. He also co-founded Old Glory Bank, which he described as a bank that protects people from being debanked for their views. John believes in building a parallel economy where people who share values can support each other without fear of being silenced. For example, he explained that Old Glory Bank was designed so that if someone holds views unpopular with big corporations, they will still have a safe financial institution that will not cancel them. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.